Welcome to our Monday night shiur. It's our first shiur of the year 5780 Tafshin Pei SHOVAVIM series. You like that 5780?
No, I didn't understand because we've been doing
you got nostalgic for a second. Our shiur tonight. First of all, a shout out to a semi-member, to Eliyahu, for getting engaged tonight. Eliyahu ben Alexander Osnat. Anybody? He's celebrating his engagement tonight. Mosheyev, yes. So we wish him Mazal Tov. Many times we mentioned his name in the shiurim. He should be zocheh and he should be fruitful and multiply. And our shiur tonight should also be the Refuah Shlema Daniel ben Rosh Shoshana. May Hashem always be mezakeh otcha to walk on your 2 feet, to be Torah, b'mitzvot, u'masim tovim, chaim arukim, shelo titztarech lebasar v'dam. Should never eat anyone. But really, our shiur tonight is sponsored by our dear friend Avraham. How did you know that, Avraham? You're connected, right? Avraham Chassanov. It's a Sudat Hodaya. I don't want to get into the private details, but basically somebody in the family was going through a series of tests that were hereditary, am I correct? And it was seemingly like there was a chance that the test would come out positive, chas v'shalom. And this week, Baruch Hashem, we got the phone call after tefillot and nidarim and shiurim that the test came out negative, Baruch Hashem. And the person in question came out free from every... This is after her father and her sister both suffered from that thing. So it was a big miracle, private miracle. And he said, I'm going to sponsor the shiur. Should be thank you to Hashem. I'm saying thank you to Hashem. If you guys remember, a couple of months back, we started this this thing that we're gonna say Sudat Hodayaz. We're gonna say thank you to Hashem for the stuff that He gave to us. So we want to say thank you to Hashem. Mizmor letodah hariu u'ladonai kol haaretz. The Gemara says all the mizmorim in the future are gonna be canceled. All the songs of Psalms, Tehillim, are going to be cancelled in the future, except for Mizmor LeTodah, saying thank you to Hashem. Why? In the future, you're not going to need anything. All the chapters of Tehillim are, I need, In the future, you're not going to need that anymore. What are you going to say? Just, thank you. Todah lecha. Thank you, Hashem, for everything. That was actually my very fierce argument with this tzaddik in the back over here, right before the shiur. What's going to be when Mashiach comes? What is the purpose of everything? But before we get to Mashiach and Olam Haba and v'chule, we first have to understand what are we living in right now. We have avodah right now. We have work to do right now, Rabotai. Work. These 6 weeks, and really the Ari says 8 weeks.
Still?
It's very interesting how it works. Don't say the rabbi 8 weeks, because then he's gonna keep you guys up for 8 weeks. Let's keep it at 6. These are called SHOVAVIM. SHOVAVIM Tat. The prophet Hosea, I believe, says, Shuvu banim shovavim. Come back, my wayward children. Shovav is a hooligan. It's a banzit. He's a kid that doesn't know better. Shuvu banim shovavim erpa mishuvotechem. Come back, my children. As a person in chinuch, even though I teach English, I don't teach Hebrew studies. I could tell you, personally speaking, I was in 10th grade today, teaching. 10th grade, I have only a couple of kids. So I give them in-class work. In-class work. Usually I give them their homework, that way they don't have to stay for detention. That's kind of nice teacher I am. So I give them the in-class work, and then I get into conversation. After when they're done, I get to conversations with them. And I tell one of the boys over there, I said, you're a shovav. You're a hooligan. We need to give you a shateh in the face, I told him. The kids like it when they say that, when you say that to them, by the way. Why? Because they don't get this attention from anyone, so they take anything. So you need a shateh. You need a nice frask, they say in Yiddish. So he tells me, Rabbi, what did I do? I say, you tell me, what did you do? So the boy tells me everything in my life. The boy tells me himself, everything in my life is a 15, 14-year-old kid is centralized around pleasure. Tells me himself. I want everything that I do is for the sake of money. Why do I make money? So I can have pleasure. I go out at night, whatever, to get pleasure. I do things that I'm not supposed to do. I'm not going to say what it is, for pleasure. Everything just to have. Then I go to sleep through what? Pleasure. I wake up in the morning just to repeat the same cycle. Exactly what you said. Kaif. I wake up in the morning with kaif, and I go to sleep with kaif. These kids don't understand. One day they're going to throw up from their own kaif. Then they're going to ask themselves the question, what am I here for? What am I living? Instead of a midlife crisis, 30 years ago there was something called a midlife crisis. Today there is no midlife crisis. It's called a teen crisis. I'm serious. This is it's an actual term today. It's a teen crisis where they get to the age of 20. They tried and did everything, and they said, "Okay." I call these kids SHOVAVIM. If they take these 6 to 8 weeks of SHOVAVIM and they use it to reconstruct themselves, it could be extremely productive for their future. Because kids don't understand, in life we go through 3 stages. There's something called ibur. Ibur is when you're in your mother's womb. It's called tlat kililan betlat in Kabbalah. When you're 3 within 3, why 3 within 3? Your head has 3 Sefirot. Chokhmah, Bina, and Da'at. That, the baby, when he's in his mother's womb, the Gemara solves with a sonogram, Masechet Nida. The Gemara solves in the Gemara, Masechet Nida solves out a sonogram. The child's head is inside his Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. 3 within 3. And his Netzach, Hod, Yesod, which is his 2 legs and his brit, are covering his Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. You know, it's called the fetal position. The Gemara saw this without a sonogram. That's another proof that the Gemara is divine. Yeah. That stage of your life, you're not responsible for anything. You are in your mother's. The Gemara says it's the best time of your life. There are no days. The Gemara says there are no days in your life that are as great as when you're in your mother's womb. You don't have to eat. You don't have to look for food. You don't have to use the bathroom. You are a child in his mother's womb. The Gemara. Look how beautiful the Gemara is. Look how divine it is. The Gemara says the child doesn't release excrement. That's number 2. What do scientists find out today? That the babies release, number 1, urine, but they don't release. Why does the Gemara say? Why? The Gemara explains why. Yes. You know what it says? Because if it would release that, the mother would die. And scientists today have validated that. Mi ka'amcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz. This is divine information. That's why the Gemara, that's why the Torah is in Sefer Devarim. Only with the Torah will the people know, that the nations of the world, that you are a goy echad, you are a smart nation. But we have to let them know this. If we don't let them know this, what are they gonna say? Gonna break into our cars, put swastika signs in, and say, you guys are Jews taking buildings. What do they know better? But we have to teach them that we have something we could share. The next stage in a person's life after Ibur is called Yenika. What's Yenika? The Ari HaKadosh says, the baby's Chabad, Chokhmah, Bina, Vedat is working. His Chesed, Givurah, Tiferet is working. But what can't he do in the first stages of his life? He cannot walk. His Netzach, Hod, Yesod cannot function. What does he need? His mother's help. Which is what? He needs the mother's milk. He needs to be fed. So what does the mother do? This is Kabbalistic. She picks up the baby to herself. She picks the baby up to herself. What does she do? She makes the baby... Why? The animals, all animals in the world, the udder is where? In the bottom. In the makom erva. In the place of that's disgusting. Only the human being, where is it? In the top. Why? Where the heart is. The Gemara, I'm not saying Kabbalah, Ari, nothing. I'm saying pure Gemara, Masachet Barachot. I think it's Daf Lamed Gimel Lamed Daled. Don't quote me. What is the Gemara? Why is the mother's udders in the top? Because where is that? Where is it? The heart is. So the baby will get a nishama. But an animal needs a nishama. No. Doesn't have a nishama. So where is it? In the bottom. The Gemara says Hashem made us a chesed, and you're worthy to say thank you to Hashem for the rest of your life just for this. That the mother's, where she feeds the baby, is on the top where the lev is, and not in the bottom. Unbelievable. We're trying to be a Uber Chacham right now? We're talking about the natural ways of life. I'm sure there's one time in a kid's life where he feeds from the mother. By the way, it is a certain kind of onish and yisurim for the baby where he cannot take, and we know from science. And you already mentioned they didn't hear his question. His question was, what about babies who don't feed from the mother? They only have formula. So, like I said, then first of all, most children can eat from the be fed from the mother, but the children that cannot, it's a certain form of yisurim, it's a form of suffering. What do many doctors say today? That all the vaccinations, I'm not an expert in this. From what I heard, it's all where? In the mother's milk. Everything's over. They call it golden liquid. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. It's inside over there. If I hear a laugh over there on the other side over here, I'm not going to look over there the rest of the shiur. So therefore, that's the second stage of a person's life. The Chabad and the Chagat are working, but the Netzach Hod Yesod are not working. It needs Ima, it needs the mother. Then comes the stage of Gadlut, Gabriel. What's Gadlut? Maturity. You reach a stage of maturity. You start to walk. Animals don't need that stage. So what do? Couple of hours after they're born, they start to walk. Deer start to gallop 3 hours after they start. Foals, they start to start to run. But children, an animal when it's born, it gets to a ledge, like a cliff, and it doesn't go. A baby does not. Why? Because the child needs the shefa from his parents. That's what the Torah says. Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha. The more you respect your parents, the more you reach a level of maturity. The less you respect your parents, the less level of maturity you reach, and the less you could reach your highest potential. For example, we see in the Gemara, in Torah, many instances where there were kings who did not want to follow their father's advice. And what happened to them? They failed. But when they did listen, when all odds were against them, what happened to them? They succeeded. What does that mean? Kabbalistically from the Ari HaKadosh, Lefi Torah Hasod, anything your parents give you during your life actually builds your neshama. If it's a sense of advice, if it's monetary help, anything that they give you, it's building your neshama. That's the state of gadlut, maturity. There is a Zohar. When I'm explaining this sense of this whole thing of Shovavim, I must explain this to you first. Because if I don't explain this introduction, you won't know what Shovavim is. And then you're just going to say, oh, Shovavim is a nice 6 weeks, and then Shovavim is going to end, Purim comes, Pesach, the year is already over. The year is already half over, by the way. We're already in January. Tevet. We have 10 Sefirot. Keter, Chochma, Bina, Chesed, Givura, Tiferet, Netzach. We all know this is a generation of Mekubalim. Baruch Hashem, we were Zocheh, as the person who got engaged tonight would say, Tisami, Sami, We're a generation of tzaddikim. We're a generation of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Now, you might say, what's the first sphira? What are these? What are spheras? You got me talking about them. I'm getting hot.
Worlds.
What are spheras?
Dimensions?
They're not dimensions. They're not a word. They are vessels. Vessels that hold in the revelation of God. To call them parts, frames would be the better way to say it. They basically hold in God created vessels to hold in His full revelation. There are 10 of them. That's why everything in this world is 10. Ever ask yourself, how come there are 10 numbers? Everything is in tens, right? Tens, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Everything is 10. These 10 hold in the power of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Means Hashem said, I'm going to reveal myself in 10 ways. That's it. Nothing more. The Sefer Yetzirah, which some say Avraham Avinu wrote, some say Rabbi Akiva wrote, the book of Yetzirah, of formation, where people could create golems from this book. They could create animals from this book. The Gemara says, the famous Gemara, there were 2 Rabbanim on Erev Shabbat. They were too poor to buy meat for Shabbat. They would create themselves a eglah. Tzilonik. Yeah, they would a calf, and then they would shecht it and they would eat. It's the same machlok Yosef HaTzadik had with the Shvatim. They saw them eating an animal without a shechita. He didn't understand, because Yaakov Avinu didn't teach Yosef HaTzadik Sefer Yitzhak. How come? You have to be 20 years old.
And
he was 17. So he didn't teach him. And he saw them eating an animal without shechita or anything. So it's one of the pshatim. And so he got upset at them. He was a kanai. Yosef is a kanai. Anybody comes to me, so is a kanai. What happens? Yosef, what happens? The Sefirot hold in Hashem's. It causes a gvul. What's a gvul? A boundary, a constriction, a tzimtzum. This tzimtzum, Hashem decreed, my revelation would come to this point and nothing more. Because if I reveal myself too much, you, me, you cannot be it. We will be just sucked back into the vacuum. So this tzimtzum must be. This tzimtzum has to be. The Zohar says, which was written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. The Gemara says, I think it's a Yerushalmi Shvuot. I'm not really sure. From my memory, I'm saying this. The Rabbi Akiva's 24,000 students passed away. When he had 5 students, he got 5 new students. They were Rabbi Shimon, but it's good to remember them. Was when a person is in a state of anxiety or he's in a state of panic or he wants his tefillah to be accepted, it's good to name these 5 students. They combine in them all the 5 chasadim. They're very high level nishamot. They basically brought the Torah back to Am Yisrael. These 5 students. They are, by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai himself, he names them in order. Rabbi Meir Ba'alanes. Rabbi Meir, you know Rabbi Meir. Number 2, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Number 3, Rabbi Yosef ben Halafta. Number 4, Rabbi Elazar ben Shamoa, Elazar. And number 5, the 5th one always eludes me. See, we have Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Elazar. Thank you. Who's Rabbi Yehuda? God bless you. Rabbi Yehuda bar Ilai. So again, we have Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Meir Bar Anes, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Elazar ben Shamoa, Rabbi Yosef ben Chalafta, and we have Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai. Interestingly, Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai, I prayed in his grave in Eretz Israel. It's right on the way to Tzfat. The Nazis, Yamach Shemam, took the Jewish bodies, made soap out of them. They found the remnants of those soaps in the Auschwitz death camps, and they buried it right next to Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai's kever. I was there. I prayed there more than one time in my life. I was zochet to pray over there. It's a very, I call it a scary place. Because when a person has that Hagdama, you go over there and you daven. It's not a simple task. You have to have a lot of courage. Thank you. The Gemara says these 5 students held Am Yisrael after Rabbi Akiva. These 5. In fact, the elder sage, Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba, he was over 100 years old at that time. The Emperor Hadrian, who swore to the Jews to build a Beit HaMikdash. He swore to them, I will rebuild the third Beit HaMikdash. Until we had the fakers, I call them the early Reformed Jews, the Kuthians, Sumerians. They told the Hadrian, if they're going to build a Beit HaMikdash, they're going to rebel against you. Hadrian broke his promise, the Emperor Hadrian, and he became the worst emperor in the history of Rome, to the point where there was an Amora in the Gemara, I think it's Rabbi Chia bar Abba, don't quote me. He said, I would be willing to give my life for Kiddush Hashem, except on that generation. To that point, the Emperor Hadrian, where he initially promised to build a Beit HaMikdash.
Faker.
Obviously. So, these 5 students brought back the Torah. Of these 5 students, the most famous of them is who? So I heard Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and I heard Rabbi Meir Bar Anes. You guys are both correct. Rabbi Akiva told Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you're worthy to be my student in the front row, but I'm putting you second. I'm making you second. Why? It's enough that me and your Creator know your worth. I cannot put you first. Who's going to be first? Rabbi Meir Balanes. I'm putting him first, not you. Putting you there. And at that moment, the Gemara says Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's face turned different colors of the rainbow. Wow. He got embarrassed from that because he was really. But the Gemara says that Rabbi Meir Balanes, with all of his greatness, he was so smart. He could tell you on a piece of meat that was taref, it's kasher. So the halacha never follows who? Rabbi Meir Balanes. But at the other hand, all the Mishnayot that we have today, who's the author? Rabbi Meir Balanes. It means Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, he never wrote the Mishnayot. What did he do? He compiled the Mishnayot. Who really wrote them? Rabbi Yehuda Nasi is Rabbi. Rabbi Meir Balanes really wrote them. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi just compiled them. He put them together. It means you have to be really smart to edit a book that took, let's say, 1,500 years in the making. That means you got to take 1,500 years of notes and put them into one book that we call Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, how many times is he written inside the Gemara and the Mishnah? Over 360 times. So trust me, he's a big presence. In fact, any time in the Mishnah that you read Amar Rabbi Shimon Omer, who is that? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And besides for the Mishnayot, what did he also give us? The Zohar HaKadosh. How did he give us the Zohar HaKadosh? In the time of the Emperor Tarajan. Tarjan. He was worse than Adrian. He spilled Jewish blood like it was water. If Jews back then would see what we're going through with anti-Semitism, you know what they would say? Sisu v'simchu v'simchat Torah. They would go insane what we're going through. Insane. Do you know what we're going through? Compared to what they didn't say it's nothing. Don't put me out of context. Compared to what they went through. But don't forget that Nitzotzot have already been uplifted in many ways. Okay? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was put in a cave. He ran away to a cave for 13 years. With his son Rabbi Elazar. And inside that cave, while he was inside, I just want to put it into context. You are in a claustrophobic place without light, food, water. You're in a cave. It's freezing cold. No shower. There's no salt or pepper. No whole wheat bread. There is nothing in there besides for a carob tree and water that's trickling from the cave. How many years? For 13 years. Now you understand how he wrote the Zohar HaKadosh. Today in our generation we have shu'alim ktanim mechablim. We have young guys who think that their moach is this big, but they have very little inside. And they think they could be mefaresh, zoharim, kabbalah, this, that. What are you mefaresh? Who are you? Who? Tikkunim in public they do. Who are you? What are you? I want to know. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did this Zohar after 13 years in a cave, in which the Gemara says in Masechet Shabbat that he didn't wear his clothes only while he prayed. He was in sand. You know what kind of sand? Not sand in the beach. That's good sand. And the cold, damp sand that would go inside the cracks of your skin, to the point where his father-in-law, some say son-in-law, Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, when he gave him a shower after 13 years, when the cracks, the sand has salt inside, sodium, it would burn his skin when the salt would come out. You know what 13 years of sodium would do to a person's skin? And Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair was crying. He said, how can I see you like this? You are a tzaddik yesod olam. You know what he told him back? Thank God that you saw me like this. Because if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be a tzaddik yesod olam. So we ask Hashem, we say Hashem, oh, how come you don't give me this? I pray shacharit b'michan aravit. Kol hakavod lecha. I pray shacharit. But did you know that that's your obligation as a Jew to pray shacharit b'michan aravit? Let's see you go above. You want to do Chassidut? Let's go Chassidut. That's the secret of SHOVAVIM. But I didn't get to what I wanted to say yet. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, this is just a Hagdama, it's an introduction. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, when he wrote the Zohar HaKadosh, he said something very powerful. I don't want to say the sentence because my rule is that you have to speak in a clean tongue. You're not allowed to speak dirty. You have to speak clean. Out of all that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, out of all the 10 Sefirot, Keter, Chokhmah, Binah, which we talked about a second ago, the one Sefirah that God enjoys, the vessel that God created to hold Him, out of all the Sefirot, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu enjoys more than everything? is the Yesod, which is the lowest. It's the second to last. It's not the highest. It's the lowest. Why, says the Zohar HaKadosh? I'm paraphrasing for you, because it's a bridge. It connects between the 9 previous ones, between the last one, which is what? The Malchut kingdom. David HaMelech, the Shekhinah, the revealment of God's presence in this world. What did Moshe Rabbeinu cry for after the Egel HaZahav? He said, Hashem, please, may your divine presence reveal yourself only in the Jewish people and not in the Umot HaOlam, in the Goyim. I'm going to tell you guys a secret right now. After the Egel HaZahav, Hashem wanted to bring the Nishamot of Am Yisrael back into the Goyim. As it was in time of Adam HaRishon, in the time of Dor Mabul, in the time of Dor Pelaga, Dor Sedom, Dor Mitzrayim. Moshe Rabbeinu gave his neshama for what? That people that you chose, these 12 tribes, the neshamot of Am Yisrael should come through them. And Hashem granted it to him. You know on what condition Hashem said, I'm going to give it to you? If the Yesod, you guys all know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say it even more. The Yesod, the Yosef HaTzadik, it's clean. The first step to doing that, the first step to keeping the Yesod, the Shovavim, which is called the Shovavim, clean, I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm going to read it to you inside because I know you're not going to trust me if I don't read it to you inside. This is something that I want to read it to you inside. We all know that the Shovavim time is very productive to clean the Brit Milah. More than that I can't say. The Shovavim time is very productive in creating a sense of harmony in Am Yisrael. Why? We have Rosh Hashanah passed, Sukkot passed, Yom Kippur passed, Chanukah passed. Now we get to that intermediate time, to which holiday? Purim. And I'm going to tell you guys one time. You know why everyone over here doesn't enjoy Purim? God said get drunk on Purim.
We don't build it up.
Exactly. Thank you. That's Ultra Chaim right there. Because you don't build it up. Do you know why you don't enjoy Purim? God said get drunk and feel godliness. You get drunk and you feel like. You know why you don't feel it? You didn't finish the job. You didn't build yourself up. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed the Shovavim. These 6 to 8 weeks, which you could create yourself. I remember learning a long time ago in Williamsburg, 555 Bedford Avenue. Unfortunately, I think the yeshiva closed already. He moved to Eretz Yisrael. Hashem should give it much bracha. And he said, I remember used to go to Purim in Yerushalayim in the religious sections. They used to get drunk over there, he said. Drunk. You know what he said? What would they used to do when they get drunk? They would say, Ana Hashem Chatati Aviti Pasha. They would say Vidui. They would say Kirat Shem Alamita as if their neshama is going. They would start to learn Gemara. That's considered revealment of godly light. But what do? Hit that shashlik, hit that oshpalo, more, yalla, next, till the end. Only if you're drunk as Lot. You know how drunk Lot was? Open up the Torah. I don't want to expound on that. If you could stand in front of you're Bukharian, right? You could stand in front of a king if you get drunk, don't worry. You have that power. Anyways, so we're for Shovavim, and the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says the greatest Sefirot to Hashem Yitbarach is the Yesod, is the Brit. Yesod is like, why? It's the bridge. It's the connection. God wants one thing from us, to connect to other human beings. I'm going to tell you a Gemara in Masechet Kiddushin, Chavtet Lamed, I'm not really sure, I think Chavtet. It says, before a person goes out to the public and make everyone religious, well, obviously, if you're religious first, you know? Make your family religious. What are you going out to? You're making the whole world dati, and your family is still. It's a Gemara. I don't know the exact words, but it's a Gemara, Masechet Kiddushin. I even remember the pasuk. Shalom alecha. We have to understand, Rabotai, that we have a obligation for Am Yisrael. I'm going to tell you something even greater. Before I read you this Ariya Kadosh. Our generation has a lot of, let's call it, lives. You know, they say cat has 9 lives. We have a lot of lives. From HaKadosh. Why? We live in an age of Avi Avot Tum'ah. If you're sitting here in a shiur, I'm telling you, you guys would be not Amoraim. Not Tanaim. You guys would be Nevi'im. I'm telling you. I was the Ariya Kadosh's words in Shara Gilgulim. You guys today would be Nevi'im if you would be living in the time of the Nevi'im. So, Ish Lere'eu Yomar Chazak. Take this with you. You guys have power. En Tzadik Bars Asher. You know why? I was reading a book, Reish Gadaev. It says over there, you know why a person falls? In our generation. To uplift other people. Why? To give kaf zechut to other people. Some of us are not worthy to fall. We love Hashem so much, we do mitzvot so much, we don't need to fall. Why do we fall? Because when we meet tomorrow, the same guy who did the same avera, we're going to pick him up with us. We have beautiful nishamot, Rabotai, I'm telling you. Each person in this room, we're going to bring Mashiach. Not Rabbi Abba, not Rav Ashe, not Rav Huna, not Rav Hasda, not Abaye, not Rav. They didn't bring Mashiach. We're going to bring him. You know why? Because even in all this mess, we still get up and go to shiur. Shovavim, this, that, every year. Same thing, but more chidushim, more things. We're such great nishamot. You know, sometimes I was sitting in Shabbat with my father, the Rav of the shul. I was sitting with him and we were talking Kabbalistic ideas, Rabach Nitzotzin. We like to talk about the 288 sparks, as you can tell. So we talk about 288 sparks, this, that, and I said to him, we have a nice bunch. He tells me we could do more, and I said, how are we gonna do more? He says to me, we have to uplift them more. I said, how are you gonna uplift them more? He says, you gotta give them more chizuk. How are you gonna give them more chizuk? Tell them they're good. We have the power to do better. Power to do more. But we're getting into a nice inspirational thing. I don't want to get too much into that. First, don't start with me. First, I want to tell you one small thing, and I'm gonna let you guys go. Before you start doing a fast of Shovavim, before you start giving your money to tzedakah, obviously you have 6 weeks of Shovavim. We're going to be talking about these things for 6 weeks. It's going to be expensive, you're saying? Okay. Before you start all these things, all the Shovavim, giving your money, relax. Stop. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. A person who does a fast of Shovavim, he gives money of Shovavim to Shovavim, but he doesn't stop the Avera, it doesn't count as he did anything. You must stop the Avera first, and then fast, give money to tzedakah. We didn't even get into if these things actually work. But just in the first step, azivat hachet, you have to leave the chet. You cannot do fast, stay up all night. all these kinds of yisurim, these sufferings of the Shema, if you don't leave the Avera. But the Ari Kadosh says you can never leave this Avera unless you do what the Gemara says. No, that's also an Avera, by the way. You have to get married. If you don't get married, you can never stop this Avera of Shovavim. So don't even start doing tikkunim. I'm telling you right now. No person who is single should join in the tikkunim of Shovavim. None of them. Zero. Efes. Blank zero. As the Rav says over here. Blank zero. You cannot do a tikkun of Shovavim unless you're married. Why? There's no way in 7 heavens you could stop doing this Avera unless you're married. If you continue to do it while you're married, then we have something to talk about. We can fix. Don't worry. But you have bread in your basket. If you don't get married, you cannot do a tikkun. You shouldn't even hear the word Shovavim. That's how far I'm gonna go. The concept of Shovavim doesn't apply to single people. It doesn't apply. He should fast to get married. He should give tzedakah to get married. He should do everything he can in his life just to what? Get married. That's it. And this is the advice I give to every people. And if a person texts me or gives me messages, I don't pay attention. Why? Are you married? You're not married? I don't want to hear anything. First get married. Leave the Avera. Leave it, and then we'll talk about Ta'aniyot. What do you think? You're the Ariya Kadosh already? What do you think you're Rav Chaim Vital? You think you're the Rashash? You're Mordechai Sharabi? Who are you? Yeah, you're a big neshama, but let's not jump too high. Alright? First step of this tikkun, Ariel, is what? You gotta get married. Could you agree with me?
Yes, but also
100%. Don't add anything. First get married. After that, I'm gonna read you something. Says the Ariya Kadosh, all the averot that a person does gets written in his forehead with a dark fire. With teshuvah, you could remove it. Except for one avera. When a person has a nightly emission. Try to say it as clean as I can. In the night, if he has a dream that he wasn't supposed to have, and in Hebrew they say barachlo.
Even if he does tikkun for it?
Can we get to it? It doesn't, that avera, it's considered an avera, doesn't leave his forehead in that dark fire until he doesn't do teshuvah and dips in the mikveh. That means the first step to doing this Shovavim tikkun is what? Mikvah. The Rambam. You know who the Rambam is? They have a statue in Washington D.C. Tell me if I'm wrong. Maimonides. They have a hospital on his name in Brooklyn. There's a couple of them. The Rambam, which was a Pashtan, he said, Beyamai, in my life, I never missed Tevilat Keri. I never missed going in the mikvah in the day that I was either with I had relations with my spouse or had a nightly emission. So you want to do ta'aniyot, you want to fast? Could you do this first?
Nope.
Could you do this first? This is more important. And I'm going to read you a chidah. The chidah says, whoever goes to the mikvah on the same day that he had this, I'm telling you secret of secrets right now. I don't reveal this usually. If you go on the mikvah on the same night that you had this kind of a dream, or you were with your spouse that same night, and you go to the mikvah that same night, all the levatalaz, where is it written? In Tzipor and Shamir, Zayin Kuf Dalet.
You can't wait till the morning?
In the morning, yes. In the morning. You have 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
That means you would have to be insane If you lived in a religious area, in a Jewish area, and you had a mikveh open until 7 o'clock in the afternoon, which we have over here, hint, hint, right here in the thing, and a person went through these two situations, didn't go to the mikveh, you have to be insane not to go to the mikveh. That's more important than doing ta'aniyot, sigufim, and this and that. First thing, learn what tahara is. You know what? I tell people, Mashiach is coming. You know what I write to them? I said, Atab said the Barosh, you're okay in the head. Do you know what Mashiach means? You would have to have a mikveh in your basement. Every human being has to have a mikveh. How? How are you going to deal with truma? How you gonna deal with kodashim? How you deal with taharot? How you gonna deal with these things? You have to be in the mikveh. Or else you can't be a farmer. You can do. You know what's gonna be the main part of Nasa when Mashiach comes? Agriculture, farming. Why? Everyone wants to bring korbanot. By mistake, you put the light on Shabbat, korban. You put your kids. You touch muktzeh, korban. This korban. You need to grow a lot of. The Gemara says, Anshe Yerushalayim were rich. They were rich. Why? Everyone comes to Yerushalayim for the 3 festivals. Why? You're losing money. Hashem, I'm gonna bring a korban. Suddenly your stocks go up. We gotta bring a korban. Suddenly there's a korban. Everybody in Yerushalayim we're in farming. Why? Everyone comes in. They made a neder. You have to bring what? Korban. How are you gonna touch those korbanot if you're tameh? Bijo. I'm starting to talk Georgian with you guys. You guys are not understanding me. How are you gonna bring this korban if you don't know what a mikveh is? Tonight I'm gonna say one last thing. I had so many. Look at all these papers over here. This was all prepared for you guys tonight. I didn't even do one of them. I'm gonna read you one last thing. I'm gonna let you guys go. It's late. We still have the Otrot Hayim. It says over here. Tonight is the yortzeit of Rav Salman Mutzafi. He was the main student of Rav Yudaftaya. His son today is one of the greatest Sephardic rabbis of the Jewish people, Rav Ben Zion Mutzafi. So I'm going to tell you something in his name. And it's going to be for us as if we learned his Torah. And we're going to have a zechut for that. It says, Umor Avir of Salman Mutzafi, which today is his yortzeit, he was one of the greatest tzaddikim in the past generation, said, for sure one of the 36 hidden tzaddikim. It said one time he prayed so hard by the kever of tzaddikim, it started to rain. Rain! So they came to him, Rav Salman Mutzafi, said, Rabbi, it's raining. He said, I thought Mashiach was going to come. You know, you're telling me it's raining. I thought Mashiach was going to come. To this level he was. He was always sure to say, he would always repeat this, of Salman Mutzafi. What Rabbeinu Rachamim Sharem, Besifro Shar Rachamim, Der Chaim, B'Shem Mikubal, Asadeh Aya Omer. He would always repeat this, the Salman Mutzafi, in the name of Rachamim Sharem, who would say it's the name of the Sadeh, which I have the zechut to be born on the same day that he was born. He said, Ma'alat HaTevilah. What's the greatness of going to a mikvah? Before you start doing tikkunim, this, that, mikveh. What's mikveh? What does it mean when you go to a mikveh? What do you do? Shkoyach. You're purifying yourself. We didn't know that. What is the meaning go to a mikveh? Of 40 se'ah, of the 40 se'ah, which should we go to? To'elet gdola lechol minei avonot. It causes a great purification for all your averot. On one condition, if you promise to not do the avera again and you try to make yourself greater in your neshama and your live. But specifically, avon azera. I don't want to say that it's the avon of the SHOVAVIM. Va'avon akas. It fixes the kaas. Ga'ava, only kaas. Kaas is anger. We're all parents over here. We get angry. Nothing you could do about it. Ga'ava, what's ga'ava though?
Pride. Ego.
Ve'ein davar be'olam. Listen to this. Oh my God. We have to take this and make it so maybe somebody could do this. Yes. Ein davar be'olam, says Rav Salman Mutzafi in the name of Rachum Sharim, name of the Sadeh. There isn't a thing in the world, Gabriel, shegorem kedushat haneshama, that causes holiness of the neshama, im haguf, with the body, uma'avira avonot me'al hametzach, and erases all the sins from your forehead, kemot tvila, like dipping inside the mikveh. V'katav ha'ari, and the Ari wrote, you believe the Ari? I know I do. When you're dipping in the mikveh, you know what's happening? Your neshama dips in the upper mikveh, in the upper worlds. Your soul goes inside a special river called Nahar Dinur. When you go to the mikveh, it is for sure, says the Ari, that in your forehead is written 4 letters. Yud K Vav K, Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. שתזכו לשנים רבות, נעימות וטובות. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.